And here we are together, but 5 minutes late to the mirth. I apologize, the go live button is a confusing feature. And here we begin together. Thank you for joining us. Stand by as we head into what is nothing less than the beginning of our communal Sunday. Good Sunday to you all as you join us here in the ministry. This place that is meant for you and I and you and we together. That we share these moments on a Sunday and let go of the troubles of that bullshit week that we so cling to, with these memories and thoughts that people would drive us within, like a car that doesn't get good gas mileage. So we throw that to the side and we put our feet down into the soil and we let go of the world, let go of our communal worry. For here you have joined, and here you are, at what is nothing less than a revolutionary camaraderie. A moment in time that you and I all get to play by a simple rule. And that rule is embracing our idiocy, my friends. So before we begin our ministry, that moment together where we recognize how stupid shit really is, where we let go of it and forgive ourselves for being a part, and look at our friends and neighbors and say, hell, that ain't real. No, that's not the best of us. No, today is the day to forget about that and just boil ourselves down to a simpy little simile of life, which is to give way to the love, give way to the mirth and the silly, give way to our innermost child, and just enjoy. Put something on your feet that makes you feel good. Put something on your head that makes you feel cool. And take this moment as I give you 60 seconds to meditate upon the week and let it all go before we begin the cacophony of a bombardment of your senses that I begin in earnest to entertain you as the fool of love, as the fool of empathy, as a fool for sentience and experience. My friends, I welcome you to what is nothing less than the future of our familyhood, of our inclusion, of our ability to see one another as the same, and yet recognize our individuality. So as I say quite often, don't forget to remember the things that you often remember to forget. Don't look at your hands, but try not to look at your hands. And feel amongst you the recognition of the 60 seconds of sweet, metaphoric silence of the inner self as we head down into our own psyches that let us release our anxieties for the day. And we release these things in a 10-second time pattern that then extends into a period that we might recognize as nothing more than a moment with ourselves as we count backwards from 10, 9. Don't forget not to remember the things we are meant not to remember when we forget them. Don't look at your hands. Try not to look at your hands. Look at your hands. Don't look at your hands. 7, 6. When these moments pass us by and we don't notice that they are moving, we are moving in relationship to the moment that we moved. Yet we are not going anywhere. Look at your hands. Don't look at your hands. Try not to look at your hands. Remember all these things that you try not to forget. 5, 4, 3. When we reach the bottom, we will be in a state of conclusive relaxation. And we will let go of the trauma and the trouble of our week. And we will see the world as better, more than worse. And we can love one another. And we can be free of a mental prison that we made for ourselves. 3, 2, 1. We are relaxed. We are at one. We are here together. And in this moment, I give you 60 seconds of peace.
She brought on a controversial person. Obviously, that was going to bring around like a conversation. It was going to get views. People are going to want to hear what goes down. I think that, you know, this is not the first show that has brought white supremacists on.
Hello, my ministry, my flock. You thought I was going to leave you in that temperamental state? No, hey, no, you know I was going to bombard you with something crazy at the end of that. And what did I bring in? Oh, the discontent. Oh, the malicious. Oh, the winners of the tribes. Yes, my folks, I'm talking about my colleague being a winner, being a man who points out the indiscretions and winning at the end of the day. And why am I doing this? Because this is nothing less than a great example to start the day with as I head into just an example of living. That, yes, the backdrop of is wondrous, but the cacophony that we hit each other with is very important in the temperament of how we behave. I was just talking about this recently, and oh my, I'm sorry, let me get into my ministry garb. Stand by. I just gave way to the Matrix the other day. Bought myself a $8.95 Amazon ordered fractalin latticework background t-shirt, so I figured I'd become one, or partially, so I can expose my innards to other all, as opposed to those who might not, my friends. Today we start slow and soft, because I'm going to ramrod the idiocy. I'm going to take a hammer of mirth and I'm going to sledge it down, because that's what a sledgehammer is. And before we move forward, I want to inundate you, possibly indoctrinate you, and hopefully pull you in to a deep and wonderful, colorful space known as happiness. It's within all of us. It's a place where we let go of the traumas, where we don't have to seek the emergencies or the fallow, shallow fall. Because, my friends, we're here at the mystery of the flying pig. And if you thought that I was just going to be all sweet and lull you, no, my friends, I'm going to just bombard you with the expected of the unexpected. That's correct. And as we all know, we're tuned into your particular channel right now. So if you aren't on the same wavelength, make sure to ask the engineer who's not here. Hold on a second. Engineer who's not here? Are you here? No, he's absolutely not here. Thank you very much. So don't laugh for me. Laugh for little Johnny, who cannot laugh tonight because he has no lips. But besides that, it's all just snappy patter. Don't laugh for me. Yeah. They're not actual jokes. They're just incredible facsimiles. So as we move forward into the nonsense, I have set forth a certain number of insanities, idiocies, a cacophonous exaltation of the absolutely silly. And mostly, if you're not familiar with what we do here, that's what this is. So feel free to call in. I'd love to hear you share stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop the beat, shall we? Let's get into it. You know what this church is about. It's not about being pretty. It's not about being fun. It's about being wild, which includes the fun. So I don't want to minimize what you can do. Or just go ahead and grab yourself some extra strength cafe. Because you know we shake our ass around here. I have donuts today. Anybody want a donut? They have holes in them. And then they make those holes into other things. It's amazing. the technology. I swear. On God. On God. Okay? By the way, where is the pig? Oh yeah, every 10 minutes and 31 seconds, the pig appears with the harbingers of the flying pig. His security staff, basically. They're less adorned, but he doesn't really need security since he's a super pig. But you may be asking, Aaron, what the fuck is this all about? Well, there's so much in the world that would tell you that things are just limited, that things can't be fun, that things can't be freeing, that you can't be a child in your heart and soul and see the world as amazing and weird and silly and stupid and embrace these things. And so many messages are constantly bombarding us now because we have one of these in our hand at all times. And it's listening to us and it's observing us. And so I have built this as a way for all of us to get together and just put the differences aside and put these things aside. And I'm counter-programming. I'm literally utilizing a whole bunch of different practices to just have a fun space because of the noise, because of the way things are developed to disenfranchise us from one another when we are all we have. And when I say this, and I meander down a preacher-like walkway of thought, behavior, and groovy dancing. Woo! By the way, I'm a little stiff today. Woo! I didn't even stretch today. Ow! Ow! Hold on. I got sounds for this. I do. Everybody has a soundboard, but I have an actual, 3-fingered air horn. Trace is better than 1, 2. It's 3. And that's comedy. It's even more fun when you know you have control over it. Alright, anyhow. So today, what am I going to share with you? Oh, I got all sorts of fun, just stupid shit to do. But first off, I always like to invite you up. If you would like to share with the ministry, anything at all. Oh, I'm in top chat right now. I'm not even in live chat. What the fuck's wrong with me? Excuse my language, but don't excuse it, but excuse it at the same time because it's just language. We can forget all that. People tend to not actually mean the things they say sometimes. But in actuality, they're just expressing a projection of themselves. So forgive them that. They may be, in a way, in their feelings, or as some of you like to call them, their fifi. Which is okay. It's okay. Because this is Sunday. This is the ministry of the flying pig where we let go of the expectation and we exalt the unexpected and the joyous and the frivolous and the nonsensical. So grab your tea, grab your water, grab your friend, grab the dog, grab the cat. Don't grab someone's wallet. You might get in trouble. It's just a plain idea. Grab Duke the Dawn. Pull him on over. Make him apologize to Mike TV so we can get him on our side because apparently this person, I was watching last night, this person is basically saying the same shit we are. Now, is that counter intel? Or is that, what is that, double agency? Is he really there? But my friends, I digress. Into a subset of problematic issues of the week. And this is the point I'm saying, is that we can easily round ourselves into a return to the problematic behaviors and thoughts of the week. So we do so, I'm going to count upwards to bring us to a new plane. For inside of ourselves is nothing less than a box like Pandora that allows an explosive experience that is rooted in our inner mind. That releases the oxytocin, that releases all the dopamine. Shalom, shalom, my friend. Let us be at one in peace in the world and rejoice in our mirth and silliness, which this is what it's about, Abba. Today, Abba Yahweh, we are together as one, not as a belief, but as a structure of joy, as a being that can share the differences and revel in them. And then also say, we're frickin' stupid! Because there's so much silly in the world. And at this point I have digressed to the point where the whole point of the ministry shall collapse upon itself. If I do not interject the unexpected, or embrace the universe within me and you and we. Because essentially without these things, we are but dust. We're the background. So the silly and the unexpected are our gifts that have been given. No matter what you believe or feel to understand where they came from, I would pose that it's more important that we look alongside ourselves. Over there, up there, down there, or over here. And reach out to one another. Especially on Sunday. And be all down for the insanity like this.
You want to clean the world? You make the rubbish worth something. Then cunts will go after it like it's fucking money.
Because this is some, by the way, this is the Big Les Show. And this is one of my favorite little stupid pieces of anything I've ever found.
On a tight schedule. Fuck off. Why's he coming? Why's he coming?
Ah, this is a finely rolled joint.
Thank you, I rolled about 3 of them this morning.
Quite strong. Did you put any dusties in it?
Yeah, mate.
You put any dusties in it?
Even a hash noodle.
Ah, hash noodle.
Hash noodle. I'm not saying you should do any of this, but it's
Roger, mate.
this is very funny. And I'm going to run it back again just because I just love the accents.
You want to clean the world?
This is Australia.
Rubbish worth something. Then cunts will go
And I'll
after
turn
it
down
like
the
it's fucking
turn down the backbeat a little bit.
See, this is the kind of shit you talk about when you're sewing.
Guys, do you reckon we can leave soon? Because we're kind of on a tight schedule. Fuck off.
Why's he coming? Why's he coming?
Fuck off. Why's he coming?
Thank you, I rolled about 3 of them this morning.
Quite strong. Did you put any dusties in it?
Yeah, mate, fucking shitloads. Even a hash noodle.
Ah,
Even a hash noodle.
Oh, says he got the fucking stinging Roger.
Stinging Roger, mate. What's a stinging Roger?
What's a stinging Roger?
Go to the joint, mate. Don't you usually throw that bit out?
He's the fucking joint, mate.
Like the chocolate bit at the end of the cornetto.
Yeah, a little chocolate bit at the end of that. Let me run that back. That's one of my favorite lines. It's a little chocolate bit at the end of the cornetto. He's talking about the hash noodle. Hold on, you want to hear it again? Let's watch it again because it's so short. It's so stupid.
You want to clean the world? You make the rubbish worth something. Then cunts will go after it like it's fucking money.
See, this is the kind of shit you talk about when you're sewing.
Guys, do you reckon we can leave soon? Because we're kind of on a tight schedule. Fuck.
By the way, this is a show about Sasquatches and humans. Just so you know, if you didn't know.
Thank you, I rolled about 3 of them this morning.
Yeah, he rolled it.
Did you put any dusties in it?
Dusties.
Shitloads. Even a hash noodle.
Ah,
Oh, hash noodle.
Oh, says he got the fucking stinging Roger.
Stinging Roger, mate. What's the last few tokes of the joint, mate? Don't you usually throw that out?
Yeah.
It's like the chocolate bit at the end of the cornetto.
Yeah?
Why is it called
It's the
stinging
chocolate
Roger?
bit at the end of the cornetto.
Fucking,
Fucking love that.
fucking.
I'm going for it. I'm going
You
for
gotta
it.
fucking do it, fuck, mate.
It's the truth. It's the truth, yeah.
Fuck, mate. Burnt me
Oh.
fucking hand.
I've apparently got a limitation in my own server for how long I watch. Oh, that's crazy. So if you're on Discord, by the way, you are more than welcome to join us in the ministry for chatting as well separately if you're not on YouTube. So thank you for being here, by the way. And yes, many a stupid sitting in high places of power. And so for us to recognize this, we counter it by being silly ourselves at least a little bit so that they don't see us as weak, because the weakness becomes our focus. Our own self-annihilation through becoming such a warrior that we forget to sit down and rest. And the rest would do otherwise. Meanwhile, back at the camp.
This is the place of science. Now stand back. I'm about to add the last ingredient to this experiment. My very own DNA.
Doctor, couldn't that be dangerous?
Please.
Oh, how did I get over here? I'm on my own feed now. What happened?
Let's go.
Oh, it's because I am on my own feed. Oh, Jesus. So, oh yeah, if you're not familiar with this program, Big Les is basically a self-made Australian cartoon that uses very realistic voices, and it just pokes fun at the characters in that environment, and particularly the character Big Les, which is an interview with a person. Let me see if I can find this because it's so dang funny. Is this Big Les? Oh yeah, that is Big Les. Oh, let me see if I can get back to the origination of Big Les, which is fantastic. Ooh. Ooh. Hold on, I want to see the Coronetta thing one more time. I can watch that over and over.
Clean the world, you make the rubbish worth something. Then cunts will go after it like it's fucking money.
By the way, I'm so glad that you're here with us. Feel free to call in and join. Yes, sir, Yeshua. I apologize if I'm only picking one side of the name. Although I will say it, Abba Yahweh Reign 7, I love Yeshua. Yes, sir.
Yeah, mate, fucking shitloads. Even
And look around. Supporting our friends and loved ones is the key to life. Even if we don't disagree, if we disagree, or if we agree, it doesn't matter. It's about supporting fellow humans and seeing them as human. And the prison is so easily walked into, and the maze is so easily run, and you pick up those poopies that you leave behind you, and you make them into diamonds because you think they're important, and then you toss them at your goddamn neighbor. Meanwhile, the best part is the chocolate end of the Coronetto, right? It's the end. It's the stuff you didn't expect. It's the bombardment of the unexpected on the expected.
Chop, chop.
So,
Better be fucking good.
yeah, it's pretty fucking good.
4 seconds late.
Probably. I was about 4 minutes late, actually, to be specific. All right, what are we watching next? Because this is a show about moving forward. 7. I will definitely call you 7. Yes, sir. Or ma'am. I'm not sure, because that could be anyone. Or they. Which, by the way, is a tough thing to learn, but that I've been learning. And by learning, I mean adding it into my language and expectations, because that's part of it. Is expectations. Oh my God, all of this darkness. I think I'd like to take you down a little train that if you've never done any, well, mind-bending experiences or had any experiences with the altered states of consciousness, that you may be thinking, well, is this implying in this show that we should be doing some no.
Game box things.
No, not at all, actually. I would suggest, though, that we do open our consciousness up. And that's why I'm so down. So down! I'm so down! To pick up the beat just a little bit and add a bass line. How about you? Actually, let's add a rise. Ready? Let's get it in. You ready to drop down? Woo! Bring up the bass. Get the energy up. Get ready to drop it. Here it comes. Ah! Oh God! Woo!
Oh, would you like fries of that, Quinton? Lucky you, what a fucking present this year. You said you got it from the tip.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, to save money.
I think that's a good place to start, right? Pick up the pace, though. All right, what are we watching? Well, I'm talking about altered states of consciousness, altered states of being, altered states of mindset, altered states of love, my friends. And not the kind that, the pearls of lack of wisdom, or the dawns of the streets, or the kings of nothing, or the sapio sapiens of absolute regrets. No, not that kind of love. No, my friends. I'm talking about love of thy insane self, love of thy wild self, love of thy unhinged self, love of thy neighbor's best, which is also sometimes their wildest individual self. And the reason I mention this is because if we take ourselves to these other concepts in the altered states of knowledge, in the altered states of being, we respect the being that is all, that as the name Yahweh suggests when you break it down. It means the M, the is, the all.
What? There's games on, isn't there? No, you gotta get
Which, my
well,
friend,
Jesus Christ, Quinnan. I do
is
something
how
must be, and
we
all you do is
are
ask more shit.
in the background.
How much is one of these bloody...
And why I share this experience, which you can find at Josie Kinn's channel.
$70.
And above, you can find the cartoon rolling in the background at The Big Les Show, which I highly advise to subscribe
Yeah, well,
and like
game box.
with a thumbs up.
Hey, Les.
And enjoy as you do when you leave the ministry and I set you free upon the world, carrying the torch of mirth and silliness.
I'm just concerned because
Silliness.
we're fucking financially. We are financially.
I want you to think about the joy and the experience as we walk into a new world that I present behind me as I introduce you to Josie Kins, an example of a creator who is unlike most others, as this person is actually an expert in the field of psychological infringement, or otherwise known as psychedelics, specializing in the altered state of consciousness of DMT. And what you are watching now behind me is an actual visual representation, an actual truthful visual representation of the psychedelic experience from LSD or mushrooms or DMT. And the reason I mention this is because this is a natural state of being caused by chemicals in our brain that let us see the otherworldly that is part of our environment. And once again, I don't... Thank you, Seven. I appreciate you being here and experiencing the mirth. It is so important that we spread seed by seed these flowers that give us the life, that give us our individuality, that give us a moment of the day to respect the flying pig in all of us. That is nothing less, in our case, than, as my grandfather would say, ickle bickle, you're a pickle, and bring us into the fold of the final and unfound tribe that most would not recognize as nothing less than the nature of humanity. To be that which is unusual and individual and thrown out as gamma, when in fact we are sigma, the closest to the ear of omega, closest to the ear and eye of the universal being, otherwise known as the M, as the is, as the all, or colloquially known as the serpent who found its tail. But that's another story in another stream for another time. In this world that morphs around us because our eyes perceive light in rods and cones in the back of our ocular cavity and transmits signals of depth and recognition to several portions of our neurological systems, we recognize that our permeable reality may just be a dream state, or it may just be a recognition of physical matter for the sake of having it be physical, so that we are not temporal. And if you recognize this, then maybe, just maybe, you can let go and be free of the troubles within us all, just for a day, and see the lattice work behind it that creates all of this, and all this wonder, and all this crazy, and all this wild, which makes, life interesting. And really, truly, I'm doing a little more preaching than I normally would. But that's only because I feel like you get it when I'm memeing that way. Which, by the way, feel free to clip me all day, because that's what it's all about, just being a human meme today, is to let go and to grab your rollie and smoke it down to that lovely little nibbins known as the cornetto of the joint, if that's what you're into. Sometimes I'm just into dropping the beat. Woo! Especially when it keeps moving. By the way, you can find me occasionally now in the music room, late night. I pop in. I have been doing it for the past 2 nights, because I've got a couple pieces of gear that I just got, so I'm continuing to work. I'm moving down the train, down into what is known as the DGG. So I'm embedded now. Even though, as you all know, I told you the other night, I threw off, I gave off, I dropped my side gig, because I'm compromised, and I'm too involved, and now I'm here. Now I'm in the battle. Now I've got my suit of armor on. And that armor is silly as fuck, as you can tell. And actually, I would like to celebrate that. Would you want to celebrate that with me? Because I really, come on. In fact, you know what? Hold on. Come on. Get it on. Let's get it on. And as always, try the dance moves. Bet you can't do them. Plus, you are see-through. But that's because I let it all into me. I'm just kind of down with letting the universe be part of me. That's kind of why I got the Lattice Work shirt the other day. Hey, the pig! He's the pig! He's the pig! He's the flying pig! Oh, he's our homie. He's our mascot. He's the representation of our internal selves being able to fly. Ow! Don't hit the ceiling of your own thoughts, my friends. No. Woo! No. Yes, friends, press the like button if you like what you're seeing, especially if you can see right on through it to what it really means to be here together. It means that we're willing to suspend our little bit of troubles for the moment. It means that we're here to share in a little bit of mirth. It means that we're willing to watch some silly-ass man on the screen who only screams at us about equity and conspiracy. And we're willing to let that go for a moment and go, wow, we can be freaking wild and funny and fun. We don't have to be stoic. No, not all the time. We don't have to be sad. No, not all the time. We don't have to be gruff all the time. We don't have to be all the time. As a matter of fact, we can be altered some of the time. Some of the time we can take the moment to move into a new dimension. We can take this time to move forward as we get into a new thought, into a new being, self, to see the world in a different way, together. And then when we go free in our world, we spread that seed. We don't even mean to. It's a pollen that comes off of us naturally, and other people, they smell it. Some are a fearful sort for this. And the reason they're fearful is they stand at a precipice of themselves, and that's okay. We should support them in that. Which is why I do this. Because I feel like influence is important. Words are important. Associations are important. And how we behave in accordance with others is incredibly important. That we allow ourselves the freedom and others the freedoms we would have for ourselves to experience whatever may be or not be. And let it all go by dancing in joy in frivolity worldly wide. Which brings me to the next step of our journey today. As I've shared with you the altered states of consciousness that gives us the allowability to move forward in time and experience, I bring you back to the indoctrination that I mentioned at the beginning, that I am unabashedly making you aware of, because most people would not. They would do the hypnosis and the hypno right under your nose. And I remind you, and I thought to myself initially I would only mention it once, but I realized it's important for you to know this, that there's a form of hypnosis called polyscopic hypnotation. And I'll bring it back online because you know it's my favorite. I've been sharing it every weekend. I think I should just share the whole damn thing. I'm going to try to watch as much of it I can, but it simply is just so absurd. I assure you that you should watch it for yourself. It's called Shadow Vision, ShadoeVision. And it describes visually a process called polyscopic hypnotation. If you're like, oh, Aaron, YouTube ain't real. Yeah, it doesn't come from YouTube. It comes from 1986-87 HBO comedy experiment. And this gentleman was a PR advertiser in the Los Angeles area and a radio personality. And this is long before even cable was an average consumer item. And the reason I share this video with you is because the science that was used and invented in this video, essentially by its editors and writers, and the coalition of folks who had studied subliminal advertising and subliminal influence campaigning, had decided that they would create a counter-influence campaign procedure that was then co-opted into what you know now as generally the jump cut. Now you might say, oh, Aaron, that's a big leap to say. Oh, is it? Really? Then why, in fact, did this material get used for many years on MTV? Why, in fact, did this material end up as commercial on MTV? Why, in fact, were there sub-genius hired by MTV to edit, to design, to propagate and promulgate the altered states of consciousness developed by jumping from idea to consciousness to the expected and the unexpected as we indoctrinate you down into a positivity of counter-programming that is nothing more than happiness, that you can go ahead and ignore the bullshit with as a tool in your subconscious mind. It's a firewall in your brain and your third eye so that we all can be as one. My friends. Yeah! This is called mugging for the camera. And I'm trying to give you enough time to clip me and make a meme. So I hope it's cringy awkward for those of you who use the culty in speak. Cringy. Oh, the pig is in my head! The pig is in my head! It's flying! Oh, goodness. All right, where are we? Polyscopic hypnotation. My constant go-to in the explanation that most people have no clue exists. That subconsciously they are being bombarded by messages from their phones and the outside media and the stimuli that is constant. There is a bombardment across their heads that takes us further and further into a hatred of self and into a disingenuous disenfranchisement of our entire experience. And why do I push this further? Because, my friends, if we don't take it seriously, with joy, and respond to it with a release of spirit, we won't come out the other side a human. No, my friends, I warn you against the stoicism of stochastic violence to the self. That fear pattern can be healed. Oh, by the soul, by the soul, by the soul. By laying on the pillow of time and giving yourself the freedom to open that third eye like a popping popcorn of the expected and the unsuspected as you share these seeds like a pollen that we wrap like a pretty package for our friends, neighbors, loved ones, and even those we do not associate with or listen to the message of, because those are the ones we wish to reach. Mostly because if you just tell these things to the people you know, you're just screaming into the echo chamber that they know you can't get out of. And that, my friends, as we talk about daily, is the obelisk, the mental prison for which we hold for ourselves. Simply so a Ben can exist to funnel our energy to it. So this is where the indoctrination starts, my friends. We join together in an army of the willing, happy, silly-ass motherfuckers who wish nothing less than to just live a normal life and be happy and share happiness without being told that we're fucking somehow whack. So I inundate you with a cacophony before I bring the angels down, everybody! Come on! The choir humbles in the shaking light of the morning dawn as those who would worship their own urinal foreverness by drinking up the juices of their own being to pretend that they would live forever. When I tell you, my friends, that the living forever is here already, that those who would have you believe that you aren't living forever in your joy, example, and the seeds you plant for the flowers you grow, and the pollen you spread. Well, if that's not the case, then you aren't here with us. And I would risk to dare say that you should be. As I raise my hand to say, whoop, 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 woo! Enjoy for the sentience. Enjoy for the being. Enjoy for the feeling. As spoken in the great book of the subgenius. If you do not understand what this book is saying, please put it down. But in this case, I say pick it up. Because maybe you need it more than someone who understands. Because they're already spinning and sharing and running the marathon to joy. With a cycle of true belief in one's own self and others, otherwise known as empathy. So, let me say this. We have something more fun to share. I'm going to move on here. We're going to talk about something I always share, and I'll get back to it. But today, I want to show you some more of Josie's stuff as she goes deep into the altered states of consciousness and being. And in this case, there's a conversation, a debate between the DMT empathy characters in themselves.
Podcast, where we explore the mysteries of the multiverse and beyond. Today, we have two very special guests, Jester Entity and Mantis Entity, who will be discussing a topic that has puzzled many for centuries. We have two DMT entities from hyperspace who will be debating whether or not the humans who occasionally enter their realm are real beings or just a product of their imagination.
Thank you for having us on the show. This is a topic that has fascinated us for quite some time.
Really?
Indeed, we have seen many humans come and go in our realm.
Lizard person. That's the Jester.
Just a figment of our imagination.
That's the Jester.
Well, let's get right to it then. Jester Entity, why do you believe that the humans who enter your realm are real beings?
Well,
yeah, Jester, why?
These humans appear to be just as real as we are. They have a physical form and seem to interact with us in a meaningful way. They have thoughts, emotions, and intentions just like we do.
But how do we know that they are not just a projection of our own minds?
How do we know that we are not just a projection of our own mind?
Where anything is possible.
That's a valid point. But I believe that the fact that they appear to have their own thoughts and intentions suggests that they are independent beings. We cannot control their actions. And they seem to have free will.
But
very interesting.
Creating them subconsciously. Perhaps our own desires and beliefs.
So are they creating us, or are we creating them?
That's a possibility, but it seems unlikely. The humans who enter our realm often have experiences that are beyond our understanding. If they were just a product of our own minds, how could they have experiences that are completely
the mirth and joy?
That's a good point. But
release
couldn't it also be possible that they are simply reflecting back to us our own
observation
beliefs
of the other
and desires?
As
maybe
positive.
we're projecting onto them what we want to see.
I suppose that's possible, but it still doesn't explain how they can access information and experiences that we cannot. It's almost
that
as
I
if
share
they're
with
coming
you
from a
in the
lower
background
dimensional plane.
that your subconscious will soak in.
That's a fascinating debate.
And tonight,
unfortunately, we're running out of time.
As I count
Do either of you
up
have
to
any
10,
final thoughts on
we
the
will
matter?
introduce these
I
thoughts
think the bottom line is that
into
we
your
may never know for sure
forebrain
whether the humans
consciousness.
who enter our realm are real or just
For
a
the
product
positivity
of our
of you and
imagination.
others, for the
But
love of
regardless,
you
the
and the
experiences
relaxation
we
of
have
you,
with them are still
for the
valid
release
and
of
meaningful.
the troubled and
Yes,
problematic
I
systems.
agree. Ultimately, it doesn't matter
that
whether
weigh you
they
down.
are real or not. What matters is that they bring
count
a unique
is up to
perspective
10.
and
When
insight
we return
into
to
our
10,
realm.
we will
And that
be
is
in a state of
something
relief
we should cherish.
and joy.
Thank you both for joining us today. This has been a fascinating discussion, and I'm sure our listeners will enjoy it as much as I have.
1, 2,
Join us next time
3.
on
I'm going to share
Hyperspace
with you
Debates as we
the next
continue
debate
to explore the mysteries
between two humans
of the multiverse and beyond.
and the concepts there beyond them in reverse.
Are the
4,
entities encountered in DMT
5,
experiences real or just
6.
products of the imagination?
Yes, that's a
When we
great
get
topic.
there to the imagination,
Personally, I believe that these entities are real. They
we can
exist in a
accept
parallel dimension
the
that we can
realities
only
that are
access
prepared
through
for
altered
us.
states of consciousness.
because of the altered
Terence,
states
I
of
must
consciousness
respectfully disagree.
that Mr.
I
McKenna is
believe that
talking
these
about,
entities are simply products of our imagination.
we
They
can
are
accept that
archetypes
the
that
products
we've
of our
inherited from our
imagination
cultural history.
are as real
But Alan, there's so
as our
much
daily
evidence
lives.
to suggest that these entities are
5,
real. People from all over the
6,
world have had similar
7.
experiences, and they all report encountering the same beings.
When we know that we have
That
a
may be true,
contiguous
Terence, but I
effect
believe that
upon
the
each other and the
experiences are
experiences that
subjective.
we have,
They are shaped by our cultural and personal beliefs.
we can let go of
And I
the
believe
cultural
that there's a
beliefs.
danger in taking these experiences
8,
too literally.
But these
9.
entities have so much to teach us. They
Find
can help us
a learned
understand the nature
spirit.
of reality and our place in the universe.
Find a new
I agree
mindset.
that these experiences can be
Find
transformative.
a new
Terence.
way and
But I
possibility
believe that
for
we
each
must
one
be
of us
careful not to
that
get
is
lost in
individual
our
to
own
ourselves.
fantasies.
And at this point, we
must
find
maintain
ourselves
a healthy
in the joy,
skepticism and critical
in
thinking.
the mirth,
I
and we've
see
let
your
go
point,
of
Alan,
the troubles.
but I
And
believe
by
that
way,
we can't dismiss these
we are
experiences
relaxed.
just because they don't fit within our conventional understanding of reality.
And now join us.
I agree
Here
that
we
we must
are.
be open-minded, Terence, but we must
Our
also
minds
be
are open.
cautious. We must approach
We have
these
returned.
experiences with humility
We are
and respect for
there.
the mysteries of life.
I couldn't
Here.
agree more. I think that's a great
You are
note
you
to
and I
end
am
on.
I.
Yes,
and we
indeed.
respect each other,
Thank you for joining
and
us
we care
today,
for each
Terence.
other,
Thank
and
you.
we have empathy
Pleasure to be here.
for the fact that we are one, whether we are imagination or real. And so I bring us back once again to the holy book of the flying pig that you all know so well, known as the one, the only Shadow Vision.
Cosmocast live 24 hours a day with, of course, local access periodically. Programming you're about to see will actually accelerate your evolution. 10 lifetimes per viewing.
10 lifetimes reviewing.
As you all know that every one of you is watching a different show, and to provide better
Your own
programming,
personal
we
show.
are
Watching you watch.
Oh, what gripping white-knuckle tension is this? And what's worse, in the pyramid at the tippy top of the world's tallest corporate tower, it's not a bit festive in the world control offices of Dexter and Flint.
If you're wondering why I repeatedly share this, it's because it might as well be an example of how one can think non-linear, send a message, be entertained, have humor, and still push a clear agenda, which I am open, face forward about, and that is the undoing of the sallowing of our spirits, the sadness sold to each and every one of us, as if that was the only option, because I would say that there's more, that we can be more, that we can go further, that we can be together a much more than less. And my friends, as we head into the end, the last little bits of our joyous celebration together here on Sunday, the burritos. Never again. I want you to remember the words of Snappy Pattern.
You don't want to
Control your mind. We just want to control your... Yes.
Folks, I love you, folks. I'm Snappy Patter. Snappy Mania. Not actual jokes, but incredible facsimiles. If you've ever facsimile, you know exactly what I'm talking about. How many people from out of town?
How many people from out?
How many
people
people
from?
How many people from? How many people? How many?
How many?
How?
Huh.
Nice talking to you.
Anyways.
And apparently, the rumors of hordes of what appear to be radiation victims seen in the desert as far west as Steaming Toad, Arizona.
Steaming Toad, Arizona?
Patrols report seeing large numbers scattered awkwardly every direction to the approach of the loud bird machine.
Your seats. If you're not going to laugh for me,
Well,
laugh for me,
laugh for little Johnny.
Little Johnny who's in the hospital tonight and can't laugh.
Because he has no lips. Anyhow.
No, I'm teasing.
I'm teasing. But try not to think about it. Think about it. But try not to think about it. Think about it. And frankly, I frankly am.
If none of this makes sense to you, really,
It may already be too late.
too late. May already be make sense to you.
If none of this makes sense to you, it may already be too late. But welcome back. Anyhow, let's put on the beat. Whoa! Whoa! To Johnny Dakota.
You ever notice how sometimes things happen to you just don't understand, and then later you're really glad they happened?
Yes, like this. Anyway.
Here's something you'll
really enjoy. Woody? Yeah. There we go. A cacophony on the expected.
Indeed. We scientists call it polyscopic hypnovation, or a state of accelerated, unexpected events taking place in a perpetually delirious assault on the accepted and the unexpected.
Woo! And as I lead you down this pathway into the unexpected, I bring you back to the landing ground of your normal beings, because I know that the ministry of life has other things to do. So here I am with you, sharing a message, but for a brief moment to say, aha! 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 Uh-huh, can I get a man from the chat? My pleasure, Seven, my pleasure. I'm so glad that you could be here today. And although the phone calls were not ablazing, someday, this is true, there shall be. Or maybe I just missed it because I didn't have the participants window open, which I shall do so now. But I see that, my friends, we are but a small flock at the moment. And this is why I say unto you, that is only up to each and every one of us here to share our seeds. And by seeds, I don't mean go implant like you're some TV star. No, I mean implant the pollen of positivity and love, the sharing of our best selves, the humor and the empathy and the way we give people a leeway to be themselves. And thank you, Seven, for being here. Thank you, flock, for being here, because the flock is nothing more than us together. It's just a representation of how we, you and I, all of us together, can love and share in the idiocy and embrace ourselves in this. Because, as Voltaire once said, anyone who would sell you on stupidity and have you believe it as true would also sell you on an atrocity. And by countering this message that I am sending right now, using this message to counter that negativity, you and I are allowing for the superhero of our souls, the one and only Flying Pig, to be exalted. And I want to squeeze her a little bit anyway, like you do. Because this is us, my friends. The kosher pig, if there is such a thing, the impossibility of our spirit overcoming all that bullshit. And that's all this is about. It's just being here together and recognizing that the thing we have in common is silly. The thing we have in common is ignorance. The things we have in common are the fact that we all need to embrace each other for our weirdness, for our wildness, for our individuality, and not to just see the negative. And that's what today is for. So go spread the joy amongst your family and friends. Spread the joy amongst your neighbors. Scratch your pets. Go take your neighbor's trash out. Go put that basket away when you go shopping. Maybe pay it forward. Whatever you feel like. I suggest positivity in our neighborhoods, and that's just simple. Just saying hello to people who may not have someone to say hello to. Maybe help someone with their groceries. Ask, of course, get consent. You know, some people are really twisted about that. But be a better person in the community. That's what this is about. And I don't care how you do it. I really don't. Because colloquially, it's probably common sense to the community in each and every way that is common sense for that community. And that's why I do this. Because I realize that if we don't start acting like we need to be in a ministry together, to counter those ministries that would tell you that you should all be a part, and that we should all be a part, because I'm part of it too. I'm just one little, I'm not a leader. I'm a participant. and a warrior. And me being at the front line, that has nothing about whether or not I'm supposed to be out front. That's for somebody else. And I already shared who I think should be in front right at the beginning. For many, many quantifiable reasons. If anything, living by example. And that's what this is about. Because together here, we share the joy. We share the love. We share the recognition that we are nothing but little tiny squiggly amoebas. Little tiny anti-antis that can only be more if we spread our wings and stretch the uncomfortable stretch in the sun, which is where I'm going to let you go now, my friends, my family, my inclusive set of intellectual lovers of the night and the day and the sleepy, nappy afternoons that we can crawl up into the hammock and share a pop or soda, a coffee or tea, a water or a fresca with those that we would otherwise see as different. But today we learn together are the same. Moby JJ Frigenstein. Hi! What's happening, everyone? Thanks for joining us. You caught us at the very tail end. But I'm still gonna give you the 3-fingered air horn. Because you just missed all the stuff. So roll it on back. You can always join the ministry because the ministry is 24 hours a day because it's recorded. It's freaking amazing. This freaking technology is so amazing. Anyhow, I was just wrapping it up because I was going to let the ministry go as we head off into our day and spread our, white girl hands across the wheat. Sorry to gender and race that, but why are all these images of white girls running through fields? That is an example of privilege, for goodness sake. I want to be able to run through fields. What the hey? I literally could only find one with a person of color running through or doing anything, and he was kind of sad. He's kind of like, I'm on a park bench. So let's make more of that. That's what needs to be shared. We need to have, I want to see like Mike TV running frivolously through a field. That'll be the change we're looking for, because love and empathy is a shared value that every single human can leap for in the search for our own flying pig. And this is what we do here, is to share this. So if you're on Discord, there is a Sunday group in the ministry in what is known as Lookup. That server known as Lookup. And I'll try to put an invite. In fact, you know what? Let me put an invite in the chat, because I'm always welcoming anybody who would be willing to join in kindness and creativity. I have a server on Discord. I have not seen eBlack's TV vid on Mike TV, but you know what I will do shortly is I will return to my practice of watching 6 to 8 channels at a time and collecting all the information about the larger connection of things. Happiness and joy. Oh, I'm so glad you could share it with me, Seven. I really appreciate you for that. And I appreciate that you were here. And if you would, do me this one favor, and do yourself this one favor, everybody. It's just about sharing it. I will definitely do so. Moby JJ. Wait, I'm sorry. Let me do this. Let me say this correctly. Moby JJ. Oh, thank you. I honestly think that this is innate in each of us, this knowledge. I don't even know if it's wisdom. I think it's our root selves, our child selves. Peace and love and unity amongst us all. And this symbol means more than that, because this symbol, if you don't know what it means, isn't just live long and prosper. This is a message that was given, that we share. And one hand means something different than two hands. As two hands is a fully religious and sacred object. The one hand is a shared moment between us all. To live long, to prosper, and to share our love with one another as one family amongst the universe. And I have always loved that this is a real symbol in religion, as well as all of us recognize that it's a symbol in science. Well, as the cartoons tell us, we must wrap the day and wrap our ideology of joy and share it like a pollen that comes off our backsides. It's going to be a crop dusting as well. Yeah, we can crop dust people with joy. I want it to be like, joy! Like Ren and Stimpy, that was some, come on. That's the goodness. So if it takes a big old bloviating fart of joy into the puffy world like a unicorn, or whatever the hell you want to see it as. Huh? Oh, did you get blocked? You're not blocked. Moby JJ, you're not blocked. No, absolutely. Somebody block you? No, you're here. I'm seeing you. I hope not. The ministry is in. In fact, you know what? Hold on a second, Moby. Let me show you something. I'm going to show you something. How face forward I am. I'm going to make you a mod. In fact, I'm also. Here's my thing. I'm going to make you a mod, a standard mod, so you know that you can't be blocked. And then I'm also going to share with Seven the mod, because here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something in my chat in general that nobody does. I'm going to make the majority of people moderators. And the reason I'm going to do that is because welcome to the Mickey frickin' Wild West, folks. Everybody should have the power. And both of you, my pleasure. Use it safely, use it wisely, don't harm others with it. It is the power amongst you all to control your own conversation. So don't forget, Seven and those around, make sure make sure you're a mod, if you wouldn't mind. Throw a 1 in the chat so that we know you're a mod, because I want to make sure that happened. And oh no, you're a moderator, you're a standard moderator. Great, awesome. I'm going to turn everybody into a mod, and I think that'll keep everybody even, because that's equality. You don't need just a couple lording over the rest of the mod. No. I'm going to let the whole chat take control of their world, because that is your world right there. It's not some imagined space. You're all having a conversation, and if somebody gets out of control or doesn't, pisses enough people off, they can get kicked out. But there's enough people that they could bring them back in if, in fact, somebody was kicked off inappropriately. And that's what the ministry is about, my friends. Equality, equanimity, joy, and sharing of that joy and fairness, which most of life doesn't have. And that's my thing. So enjoy the moderation. Please don't abuse it. I'm the only one who can take it away. And that's another thing. I'm the only managing mod. Oh, well, if you choose to, just make a good choice and make sure that it's, you check with other people around you, because there's a lot of mods, and make sure that, it's a matter of justice. It's a matter of freedom of speech. Yes. It's a matter of allowance of, thank you very much. Oh, hey, Yeshua, you're 7, you got it. Awesome. Yes. My belief is that we should all have this power and be empowered in ourselves, and that when we see some with a wrench, like Gale at Night or like Heisenberg, which, yes, you should check out Heisenberg. Heisenberg is important to know, and I hate to bring the mirth down, but Heisenberg, my friends, Heisenberg. It's out there, and I don't know if it's a human or a bot, but they don't have videos, and they have 1,800 subscribers. And they're all in the same community. And I would say that when you're in a WNL community, you might not, and let me just mention this again, when you are in a WNL community, W/L community, you could possibly look that up on the Google and find out. There is a connection between a whole group of people that believe life is nothing but a win and loss. Yes, I do. I do have a recommended channel. If you are feeling down, or you're just looking for some positivity, or you want to find a good message, there's an amazing channel with simple and very digestible information called The School of Life. And how I met them is I did production for them as they shared their executive classes, which is what they are. They're training classes for executives to become more human, believe it or not, and to learn empathy. The School of Life is fantastic for its many lessons, and you might, you might find that these things are just helpful on a daily basis, and there's so many of them, as well as their merch is helpful because it's their psychological practices and good ways to practice out of the negative and find better value in the self. And I have some of the card games and things laying around my house because sometimes it helps to just remind yourself that positivity matters for oneself as a gift that you give to yourself, to allow yourself the mistakes, to allow yourself, well, the leeway to be an idiot sometimes and to see the flying pig in your... Oh, there they are, the flying pig in yourself. By the way, these are the harbingers. They're the harbingers of the flying pig. Oh, did I just bounced out, yeah, sorry. Anyhow, I need to let you all go because you got things to do. You got places to be. If you'd like just some mirth silliness that's like cacophonous, there's a great channel called Senior Pello, SRPELO, and that's just like, it's absurd and it's a little crazy. There's a lot of fun, joyous things, but the School of Life, if you're looking for good information to share, if you're looking for love to share, if you're looking for an experience that you may not have had otherwise, that's one of them. But there's so many. Anna Akana has great information for self-help and great experience as she goes through her arc and shares it with you in a very digestible way. If you're looking for quantum physics information, Dr. Quantum. Dr. Quantum is a cartoon series that explains things like very deep topics like perception and the double slit theory. But let's just root it back to happiness and check out anything about happiness, relationships, love, care, self-care, humility, empathy on the School of Life. That's here on YouTube. Thank you, folks, for joining us. And I say, as we lead out the door of what is nothing less than our truest selves, our child selves, as the squeezy beauty of this flying pig comes upon us, and I freeze him in this moment to help you recognize that this is in us. And if you need to say the magic words in case it's haram, or it's not halal, or it happens to not be kosher, to say, ickle bickle, you are a pickle, as my grandfather once said, and that gives us the peace and love, yes, that we together can count upwards and downwards to 10 at the same time, and say l'chaim to the pig in us all, that would snort and snoot in the love and joy, that we could fly off into the sunset. Think about it. This is not mind control. Think about it. And remember not to look at your hands, but look at your hands and remember everything that we deflect upon, and try not to remember what we might have forgotten as we look forward into time and backwards into ourselves on the ultimate and yet penultimate and yet not zenith, but the lowest of the subgenius and the highest of the ranking of our minds as we count backwards and forwards together on the 1 and the 10 and the 9 and the 2 and the 8 and the 3 as we come to the middle ground of the 4 and the 7 and the 5 and the 6. And here we are in the middle, counting downward and upward at the same time as our mind reminds us to remember the things we forgot while we remember nothing and see nothing and hear nothing, but we know all with the wisdom of the root self. Pay no attention to the mirror, because the mirror is us, while we see ourselves for who we are, and yet others for not, who they may be. This is the moment of the confusion release, as we count backwards and forwards on the 5 and the 7 and the 4 and the 8, and when we return we shall be ourselves more joyous and more free, because the unexpected and the privilege of this happiness that we bring from the void in the back of our minds is the freedom of the 8 and the 3 and the 9 and the 2 as we return our feet to the ground and carry our joy through our day and spread it like a pollen on those around us. Because the shadow visions that we have are in the background now as we land on 1 and 10 and we return. Here, my friends, I say good food, good day, Kalu Kale. With a vorpal sword in our hand, we go a-tumbling through this tulgey wood, a snicker-snack, a snicker-snack. The Jabberwocky is brillig and slithy in the toe, but Gyron the gimbal in the wabe, he shall not be for us. We are here, return, and better in ourselves because we chose to be here and share with each other. 7, have a wonderful day, and I hope that this brought you joy and mirth. Adieu, my friends, as I snap away into what is otherwise known or wick would call the void.
Where do they come from?
My friends, I salute you, and to you, pig. Squeeze it! I love you all, and thank you for being here in the ministry. Freely drop donations at the door to your friends and neighbors. Bring them food and love and care. Maybe bring them a drink, because boy, this has been one ride, right? What happened here? I don't know. But I shall snap my fingers and say, I love all of you!
If you can eat this, anything's possible.
My friends, thank you so much for being here at the Ministry of Joy, Light, Mirth, and Insane Happiness, where we let go of ourselves and return to Earth so that we can share it amongst the rest of the people and fight against this individual sale of disenfranchisement that most people would have you buy because it's the easiest thing to sell to you. I mean, hell, if you're here on YouTube, you probably don't have elsewhere to go. And that's why I'm here, and that's why you're here, and that's why we're here together, is because we saw this, and we are here in the ministry to fight against those who would not recognize that we're here with them. So reach out today and tomorrow and pay it forward, because we chose to be at the front lines of love and care. I'm aronmsound, your minister on Sundays for what is nothing less than the embracing of our idiocy and our joy and the root self of our childish natures. As we say, "I'll be blessed in the joy of the flying pig." Have a great day, folks. I hope that this leaves you in a better state.
Must be those darn sunspots.
Gap cars, gap TVs, gap radios.
This is not mind control.
Think about it. Think about it. Think about it.